The Joe Rogan Experience.
Floyd's undefeated too, but he's not the greatest boxer of all time, right?
It's arguable he is. It's arguable he is.
I don't think so.
Listen, man,
I feel
he's
like he is. He's my favorite.
He's been hit hard maybe 4 times his whole fucking career.
Right.
You stop and think about how many fights he fought
He's
against
got great
elite
defense,
guys.
amazing.
Not just great defense, like the best defense of all time.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy who's fought everybody. He fought everybody. He fought Canelo. He fought Pacquiao. Maybe he didn't fight Pacquiao when he was in his prime, and maybe he fought Canelo when he was young and made him cut extra weight. He did some smart shit. But at the end of the day,
That's part of being a fighter, though, right?
at the end of the day, the fucking guy's 49 in Conor McGregor.
Right.
That's what he is. That's what I say.
49 Conor.
Yeah, because it's kind of
pretty good
weird.
record.
Yeah,
It's
but then
kind of
there's
weird.
somebody like Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson.
Different.
That's
Different eras.
different time. What do you have?
He's lost it,
200?
right?
Yeah.
He lost 15.
I
So
think
more.
Sugar Ray Robinson had somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 plus victories before his first defeat, though. What is how many? Let's find
his
that out.
first
Something
his
crazy.
first defeat wasn't it to Jack LaMotta?
Jake LaMotta.
Jake LaMotta?
Maybe.
How old was he? Was he already out of his
Maybe.
prime?
No,
That might have been
He
his
got
first
knocked out.
defeat. No,
He
I
got
don't think he
knocked
got
out?
knocked
he got
out.
knocked out. Yeah,
No, by
Dude.
LaMotta? I thought he got knocked out by
LaMotta-
Billy Conn.
No, Jack LaMotta knocked him out.
Jake. His name is Jake LaMotta. I don't think
me
he
and
knocked
names
him
is
out.
terrible. So it's
So,
like
I think he beat him in a decision in the first fight, and then Robinson beat the shit out of him in the second fight.
no.
Really?
Sugar
So-
Ray Robinson. They fought 6 times. and
I didn't know
Robinson
Jake
won.
ever
The,
knocked him out.
Robinson fought him, beat him at the first time, and I think in the rematch is when
Jake
LaMotta
knocked him out.
knocked him out.
I don't remember that.
And then in the 6th fight, he TKO'd Jake. But it was a standing TKO,
Yeah.
and he never got knocked off of his feet.
Right.
And that and then he was talking shit to, well, you stopped me, but you didn't never
Never put me
me
down.
down. Never
Yeah.
put me down.
Yeah, that was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he went through the ropes and he's like laying, just getting
Yeah, just getting beat the
pounded
hell
in
out.
the ropes. Yeah, that guy had a ridiculous chin.
Crazy.
Eating shots like that from Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
But wasn't that at middleweight too? And Robinson really started off at 147.
Yeah, I think it was lighter. I think he started
Really?
even lighter. It was 40.
See if you can pull up
44.
His record, Sugar Ray Robinson.
His Sugar Ray Robinson
boxing record.
His record's like 200 and almost 200 fights.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Why can't
Or
we get that many
200,
fights?
250, something like that.
How come we can't get that many fights in MMA?
Oh, it's more than that.
Well, in boxing, his 200th fight was look at that, 173, 19 and 6 against Joey Archer. That's his 200th fight. Go back to his first loss, or go back to the Jake LaMotta fights. You got to go way back. Stop. Those are all win. Jake LaMotta. So he beat him at 36-0, and then he lost unanimous decision. Yeah, that was right.
40.
And
what?
then he beat him again,
wrong.
unanimous decision. So he lost the unanimous decision to Jake LaMotta, and then he beat everybody else up into a draw
he
with
made it
Jose
40,
Basora rather.
So he made it to 40,
Yeah, I thought it was a lot more than that. So his 41st fight he lost. That was his first loss, and it was a decision to Jake LaMotta.
I guess Floyd really is a GOAT.
I think he's the GOAT. It's a different era. Here's the thing. It's like, when you look at Mike Tyson when he was in – we just had this conversation yesterday on the podcast. But I think Mike Tyson in his prime, when he knocked out Larry Holmes, when he starched Marvis Frazier, like when he was just smashing everybody, I think he had reached this level that you can only maintain for a certain amount of years.
Yeah.
I think the same thing you could say for Fedor when he was in his prime, when he was running things in Pride.
Yeah.
There's a level that you could reach that you can only maintain for a certain amount of years. And it's real hard because I think, this is what I said yesterday, I think if Muhammad Ali had been in the same era as Mike Tyson, he would have been better because Mike Tyson was around. You get better dependent upon who's around you. And when you're in an era, you're kind of defined by your competition. Ali was defined by Joe Frazier and defined by George Foreman and all the guys
Larry
that he
Holmes.
fought, Ken Norton, all those guys that he fought in his era. But it's a different era with Tyson. It's a different era
But you're
now.
also forgetting that he beat Floyd Patterson. It's like
Yeah.
before, like all the fights that he had before he, came
Sure.
back, but those just weren't competitive.
Right.
He was so fast. He hit so hard. Beating Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston's,
He was
big.
a murderer back then.
Yeah, he's freaking
Killer.
yeah, it's like
He destroyed Floyd Patterson.
twice.
Yeah,
Twice in the
destroyed
first
him.
round, right?
He was you couldn't get hit by him. You just
Right.
couldn't get hit by him.
Yeah,
he had
it's-
giant fucking hands.
A guy that was close to the mafia. It's
Mhm.
like so he beat all those guys. It's like
Yep.
it's like so maybe if he doesn't have that 3 years off, maybe
Yeah.
maybe who knows? But
Who
he
knows?
did. But
Yeah.
he did.
And it's also he was a different cultural figure, right? Because when you look at like his impact on society and civilization, he stood for something.
Right.
He was a guy who was like, I'm not going to fight in this fucking war. It doesn't make any sense. They took his title away from him, and the people loved him.
yeah.
It's a different.
Well, it's
different scene.
Well, you had about 50% of the population hated him,
Right.
and then 50% of the population loved him and thought he
Yeah.
was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's like I ain't going over there to fight any Viet Cong. They didn't do anything to me.
Yeah.
And it's like he's a very, very interesting figure. And then you got somebody like Joe Frazier. Very, very good fighter. Won the Olympic gold medal. Was an alternate going into the Olympics, and the alternate. I forget what happened over there. He ended up not fighting. Joe fought. He won the Olympic gold medal. They actually rematched as pros, and then Joe stopped him. Fourth or fifth round.
Wow.
But he was a beast. And then George Foreman. It's like that's a guy that didn't ever put on a pair of gloves till he was, I think, 19 years old, right?
That's crazy.
It's like 19 years old. Think about that. There's just not that many guys that have, it's never put on a pair of gloves till they're 19 years old and then get to that level.
Well, that's the Deontay Wilder story too.
Is it?
Yeah, Deontay Wilder boxed for a year and a half before he won a bronze medal in the Olympics.
Okay. George Foreman.
crazy.
George Foreman won the gold medal in the 70s. When it's like when it was even I think harder, to win the gold medal because of the Cubans and the Russians. It's like because they never went pro and stuff like that. You had that
Right. Phil Stevenson.
Right, so it's like I think it was the '76 Olympics that he won the gold medal, and he was like 24 fights as an amateur. That's all the fights he had, never lost.
That's nuts.
And it's like and just crazy.
He fought just 20 times as an amateur before traveling to Mexico City for the 1968 Olympic Games. Amazing.
And never lost. And then so that like think about that. This guy's walking through guys like Joe Frazier, and then he fights older Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm.
and then gets knocked out in the eighth. It's like crazy. He believed that he was invincible. Arguably the hardest hitter ever.
Yeah.
It's like what would have happened to Mike Tyson? We might not have known who Mike Tyson was if he would have been around in those days. It's like
Who knows?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Mike Tyson would have smashed him.
Yeah, you just don't know.
He was faster than everybody. The thing about Mike Tyson as a knockout fighter, if you watch like the Marvis Frazier fight, or
I don't
you
think he was
watched-
faster than Muhammad Ali though.
I don't think he was faster.
Muhammad's feet were so fast because
I don't think he was faster than Ali
You
in
got to
his
think
prime.
back to when he fought Sonny Liston or when he fought Floyd Patterson. You got to think of
Different-
how his feet were
right.
then.
But the 3 years afterwards, I think he was faster than when he fought. Like when he came back.
You
The-
think that Mike Tyson was faster than that
Yeah.
version of? Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Ali was a different animal. Like no one had been around before him. There was a heavyweight that moved like that. They didn't exist.
Well, Andy
Like
had
no one.
probably the best chin ever.
Oh, an amazing.
He wasn't
chin.
that heavy for a heavyweight, though, right?
No,
No, he fought.
No.
He the Olympic gold medal he won was cruiserweight.
was it?
Yeah, he didn't fight at heavyweight. He moved up to heavyweight for when he turned pro.
Who was the English guy that knocked him down and they cut his gloves?
George.
No.
Yeah, it's
God,
George.
Was it George?
Yeah, it was George.
The
George.
English guy?
George.
I'm trying to remember. He was a British gentleman who had a really good left hook, and he caught him with a left hook and
Yeah,
dropped him and had him in all kinds of trouble. And
Then there was a
They
tear
cut
in
his
his glove.
glove.
Tear in his glove. George starts with an H, if I remember right.
They tore his glove. Why they tear his
Well,
glove?
he had a small little rip, and his corner, what's his trainer's name? Tore the glove a little bit.
Yeah.
And they tried to find a pair of gloves, and it halted the action of the fight for about 5 minutes. And it gave Muhammad Ali time to clear his head. And then they resumed the fight. They never found another pair of gloves to put on him in the middle of the rounds. Think about this. This is like
wasn't it Henry something?
yeah, Henry. You're
That's
right.
good cornering.
Henry Cooper.
Henry
There it
Cooper.
is. There it is.
That's
yeah.
good cornering.
Yeah, it was good cornering.
And it's like, and then he went out there and he stopped him
Angelo
on cuts.
Dundee.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
stopped him on cuts, and I don't remember if it was the next round or the following round.
Yeah.
You know, but he cut really, really easy. They said they had his skin, he'd just get bumped.
See if you
and
can
he'd
find
start to
that
cut.
fight when Henry Cooper drops him, because it's crazy.
He hurt him.
But it's like, but he looks dead. His ass hits and he pops back up. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, but it's like when Joe Frazier dropped him, you know, it's like his ass hit and he pops right back up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He looks
No.
dead.
His chin was incredible. Catch new episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience for free only on Spotify. Watch back catalog JRE videos on Spotify, including clips. Easily, seamlessly switch between video and audio experience. On Spotify, you can listen to the JRE in the background while using other apps and can download episodes to save on data cost, all for free. Spotify is absolutely free. You don't have to have a premium account to watch new JRE episodes. You just need to search for the JRE on your Spotify app. Go to Spotify now to get this full episode of the Joe Rogan Experience.